Thank you for joining us today on Becca's World. I'm your host, Blind Becca. Today is Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. And what an incredible day this is, you guys. We're doing the blind view today. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about what's going on right now. Anyway, Kim's joining us today. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just really in shock. And we have some other people that are going to be dropping in, but we're going to be talking about what happened last night with the election and what's going to be happening in the coming days as the results roll out.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about our country, past, present, and future. So
Okay.
How does that sound, Kim?
That sounds great.
Okay.
I believe in America.
So do I. And so does our President, Donald Trump. And a lot of other people believe in America too, which is why I was shocked at the results of the election last night.
We don't have all the results in yet.
I know.
I was just reviewing different polls and different data from different sources, and everyone's showing slightly different numbers. And it looks like it's pretty much in a dead heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. I know a lot of my friends are pretty disheartened by what's going on right now, but I wanted to talk today about the history of our country because, you guys, this is not the first time America's been on the brink.
Right.
You know? And so I just wanted to rally my fellow patriots and my fellow Christians and my fellow Americans and my fellow human beings to not lose heart. We will live to fight another day and be free another day, hopefully. I, for one, am not going to stand for my constitutional rights being violated by Joe Biden and his administration if Biden does wind up taking the White House when this is all said and done. The first time they violate my rights, I'm planning on filing a lawsuit, you guys. And I will win because I will keep fighting until I win it because I don't give up and I know how to win this stuff. I figured out how to do it when I was in Montana, and I can do the same thing on a federal level. Because our constitutional rights are our constitutional rights no matter where we're at. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I also know that this is not the first time that this has happened in history, and it won't be the last time. And there are a lot of people that are feeling repressed right now. But there have been people on both sides that have felt that way, dependent upon who is elected. And no one has been determined elected yet. So we still have to be patient. And that's the hard part. The hard part is being patient until this is finally called. I don't want to buy trouble. I don't want to be overly negative, and I don't want to be pessimistic. I am prepared for whatever happens. And that's the standpoint I'm taking at this point in my life. I have gotten worked up. I was worked up last night watching and listening, and it wasn't pretty. Not for me.
I'm sorry you read my text, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
I do not like becoming out of control because of politicians. I do not like the way it makes me feel as an American. I do not agree with everyone, but that's also my constitutional right to form my own opinions. I haven't been told what I need to do or how I should do it. And the sad part is there are a lot of people in this country that have been told how to think. And I worry about those people more than anything. I'm feeling very, very empathetic today.
I can hear it in your voice, Kim.
Very, very aware today. And that's where I'm at.
Tim, how about you?
Where am I at? I'm just sitting here and 30 miles away from the city of Atlanta. And, they said a quote unquote water line broke in a brand new stadium that they built, and that they had to stop counting ballots last night. They basically just stopped the vote last night. That's what they did. They stopped counting.
They closed.
And they are now starting to count the ballots. And I am sitting here watching Donald Trump's lead shrinking very quickly. Wisconsin just came out, and it's 100% the vote in, and Donald Trump lost. Michigan is going to be called for Biden. So now it all hinges on Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and the district in Maine. And Arizona, they're still saying there's some votes out there, but I don't know.
Listen, about Arizona, last night I was in bed watching Fox News on my iPad, and my boyfriend was up all night too, watching Fox News, and we were both awake when they were talking about the numbers coming out of Arizona. And we both said the same thing that the anchor from Arizona said when they announced that Arizona had gone for Biden. We all said, what? How can that be? We live right here. Because we all can see President Trump's support in the state. That's what made me start to consider the fact that there could really be some corruption going on.
Well,
in order to say there's corruption going on, you have to have hard evidence.
And right now there's no hard evidence. So right now the best hope we've got for Donald Trump is a tie.
I think it might be a tie, Tim.
If it ends up in a tie, it goes to the House. It goes to the House of Representatives, but the House of Representatives is controlled by the Republicans, believe it or not, because there's more Republican states than there are Democrat states.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump will be elected president of the United States, and then the U.S. Senate will vote in who the vice president will be.
Correct.
Wow.
So right now we have to pray for a tie, because that's the only path Donald Trump has right now. If Arizona, when I saw Arizona go last night, I was so high. I was, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to win this. And when I saw Arizona get called, I deflated, and I posted in our group messenger, Trump just lost this election.
They called it too soon.
Like I said, for people who are living here in Arizona, who are driving the streets, who are interacting with their neighbors and going to the stores and stuff in these communities, I think all of them were shocked to hear Arizona go to Biden last night.
Well, Becca, I've been telling everybody, don't base it on the crowds you see at the rallies. Wisconsin, they had 50,000 people there. Michigan, they had 45,000 people there. Arizona had thousands and thousands of people there. There is also, as much as people love Donald Trump, there are more people who hate Donald Trump. And
people get bussed in for rallies, and that goes for both parties. Yeah,
and they're coming out of state. A lot of them are coming out of state, because I know there was some people from Nevada there in Arizona. There was people from Wisconsin and Michigan and Illinois and stuff. So
in their defense, it's perfectly normal. Like if I found out Trump was going to be in Las Vegas, I would jump a Greyhound and go there to see him, because Las Vegas is very close. You know what I mean? Even though it's in Nevada.
Well, they said that all of a sudden they got only 89% of the precincts are in now in Arizona. He's down by 84,000 votes. I don't see him pulling it out. I don't see it. And Nevada's real close. So right now we have to pray to the Lord in heaven that we end up in a tie. That's the only path that Donald Trump has right now.
And if not, our country will go to the communists.
Well, thank God we're still winning the Senate. We're holding on to the Senate as of right now.
And the Senate won't let anything pass.
The only thing we have to worry about is Kamala Harris putting in executive orders. And so, because she's already stated if she can't get Congress to do what she wants, she'll just create an executive order.
Remember, they were going to change the laws so that they could, what's that called, stuff the Senate with senators?
No, they're trying to stuff the Supreme Court. That's not going to happen now. They're not going to they will not allow Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. become a state. So we still have a lifeline. And what's going to happen, like in every election.
The Senate has to vote or has to interview any Supreme Court justice. So if the Senate is Republican, they're not going to take any Democratic nominated.
They cannot put any, if something happens to Clarence Thomas over the next 4 years, the Republicans for the next 2 years can say no, or no, he's too liberal. So we still have to say who goes into the Supreme Court. But the thing is, Washington, D.C. will not become a state. Puerto Rico will not become a state for the next 2 years. Now, let me give you a little good news. After the first 2 years of a president's term, statistically, the Congress switches to the opposition party. And so hopefully, because last night the Republicans did gain some seats in the House of Representatives. Hopefully we can control the House of Representatives in 2 years. And that's our only hope we got. And we got another Senate race here in 2 years again. So hopefully enough people see enough of Kamala. Reason why I keep on saying Kamala Harris, she is going to be president within 1 year.
Oh, I know.
I think Kamala Harris is going to use either one of two things. He's going to use the Hunter Biden illegal stuff that they got against him, say you need to resign or we'll use it against you and you'll be impeached. Or number two, the 25th Amendment. You got dementia, you need to go. You need to go.
They're young.
That's right. So what's going to happen, she goes, either you go on your own or we'll kick you out and embarrass you. And that's what he'll do. He'll resign and give it to Kamala Harris. I will bet my house on it to anyone. Mm-hmm. And Kamala Harris is like Satan in a bottle. Mm-hmm. She hates America.
Yeah.
She hates for everything it stands for.
She's so disingenuous, and I don't think we really know much about her background, do we?
Nobody does, just like Barack Obama. 4 years ago, she was a prosecutor in Los Angeles. Now she's on the verge of being president of the United States. Look what that did with us with Barack Obama. Look where it took us. And she will be the most vile president. You thought Donald Trump was bad? We haven't seen nothing yet.
You know what, Tim? I agree with everything you're saying, but listen to me. The voters, I'm sorry, I'm so fed up with my fellow American citizens. I was really shocked at the results coming out overnight. And so as far as I'm concerned, if they really want to live in a socialist utopia, I did that. I was locked down under guardianship in Montana for 15 years. It is not worth it. You will not have any quality of life. And
they haven't all had that experience, and they haven't all lived that life.
When you haven't had to fight for your freedom like we did in the 40s, and the further away you get from those big battles of freedom, you forget what it's like to not have them, and you slip into the abyss. And when you do, it's over.
And they give them free stuff, so it makes the process so much easier for them.
Becca, they're going to take away your home. They're going to take away my home. And they will either say, okay, this is how socialism works. They're going to come in, we're going to pay off your home, but we own it. And we say they're going to take away our wealth. My house is not wealthy, but they're going to take away something I've worked for the past 22 years to keep. They're going to take it away because it's not fair that somebody else out there doesn't have a home and place to live, and you do, because it's all on an equal equal standing. That's how socialism is. It is not a utopia.
Can I ask how do you know this, Tim? Is this what you've read from history?
It's what happened in Venezuela. Everything's free. Everything's free. Oh, what? And then 5-10 years down the road, you're in chaos, just like Venezuela is right now. People don't have it. Only people have anything is the government. And that's what's scary. Cuba is another prime example of what happened to Cuba. Socialism does not work. It works for the first 4 or 5 years, but then the crap starts hitting the fan. And guess who will be the first ones to get hurt? The disabled.
Well, hey guys, I got a quick minute. I wanted to share with you the great news that you can now get my first book, Because You're Blind, in hardcover, paperback, and on Audible. See the links below. This is the story of what it was like waking up blind at the age of 12, and then several years later being stripped of my constitutional rights by my parents. And it's the story of how I had to fight to get my constitutional rights back. It's a very powerful story, and I encourage you to listen to it. And the first 50 people who email me will get a free download of the Audible version. And all you have to do is go on and write a review on Amazon for me. Thank you very much. And now back to the blind view.
Kim, you asked it for examples. Russia, when Stalin took over Russia, the first thing he did was killed the opposition, murdered millions and millions of people. The opposition, he had to get rid of them. And then he cut off. Then he started to take control of Russia. And we know how Russia is today. Christianity is not allowed in Russia. Christianity, like I've always told everybody in these groups, is a threat to socialism and communism. Just like in China. You cannot be a Christian in China. You can't own a gun, because if you own a gun, you're a problem. And so this is the first step to socialism and communism that we took last night. If we do not get a tie today. And everybody who is a Christian needs to get on their knees and pray to God today. Because we are going to be threatened in the next couple of years.
Tim, how old were you when Clinton was in office?
Oh, my Lord. Let's see. I was
that
in
was
my...
30 years ago.
I was 30.
Like 30
I'm going to
years
make
ago.
a point. Because you just brought up guns. And as a gun owner, or a recovering gun owner, I know that things like high capacity magazines, semi-automatic hunting rifles, all of those types of guns were outlawed during his administration. And I do understand that those will be the first things to go.
Well, they're going to change the assault weapon to any weapon. Anything that's got a bullet in it, all they've got to do is say, okay, anything with a bullet is an assault weapon. Mm-hmm. All right, you can have a gun, but you can be Barney Fife, only have one bullet. You can't do nothing with one bullet.
They'll take them away from law enforcement because law enforcement will become peace officers again. Just like in
I think it's France or Paris, they don't carry guns.
No,
they carry a whistle and a walkie-talkie.
Don't they carry like a baton?
They got a baton. Oh boy, you can really do good with a baton.
Let me tell you,
somebody's got a knife or a gun.
I can do a lot with a baton. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you can, but if you got 4 or 5 suspects, it's got a gun aimed at you, and you got a baton, you're going to go home in a body bag. I hope and pray that we hold on to the Senate at least. We will not know. In Georgia, we got a runoff that's going to happen in January. And that fight right there can be for the whole shebang. And I didn't sleep a wink last night. I've got a headache and my back's killing me today. And I am really scared for my country today because people didn't vote for Joe Biden. They voted against Donald Trump. They didn't realize what they were doing. And this is why I hate the early voting. I hate it because we didn't have any debates until like 2 weeks after the votes were already coming in. I hate where they should count these votes as they come in, like Florida did last night. When you've got an outstanding vote like we do right now, anything can be done to alter the outcome. Trump is ahead in Pennsylvania last time I looked by 250,000 votes. Okay. So now the Democrats got to say, okay, let's come up with 250,001 vote. And that's it. Who says they're not throwing away ballots that say Donald Trump on it? Who says they haven't done that? They've thrown them away before the election. Why aren't they doing it now? This election could be illegitimate. They talk about illegitimate. This one could be illegitimate right here. And I don't like the way it's being done right now. If Donald Trump lost on the way that Florida did theirs yesterday, I can accept that. But I cannot accept that all these strong Democrat cities have all these votes that are out right now still, and they haven't been counted.
And they're not secure anymore.
They're not secure.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how many votes are being tossed away that says Donald Trump on it. We don't.
So this looks like this could wind up going to the Supreme Court.
If it goes to the Supreme Court, our country will be torn at the seams. I don't want this to go to the Supreme Court because then if you thought the riots will go insane.
War will break out before that. It won't go that far. We are on the verge. I'm not saying Trump supporters are going to have the war, but the war might be brought to us. Were already preparing for it last night by boarding up their windows.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous when downtown Washington, D.C. is boarding up the windows because Black Lives Matter is going to start tearing up the place. And that right there should have been a sign to people in the United States. If we don't stop this now, they're going to just go rampant through this country, and they're going to control our country, and they're going to because they got Kamala Harris's ear. I no longer put Joe Biden in the realm of things anymore. He's a puppet. Kamala Harris is going to run this country. I'm not trying to scare everybody, but I'm just trying to give you reality, and reality bites.
That was a good movie. In the 90s.
I don't remember much from the 90s. I slept since then.
The soundtrack was really good.
I don't even remember that movie, Kim.
I think you had to be on drugs. No, I'm kidding.
No,
let's all go to Oregon now because you can have all the illegal drugs you want in Oregon.
I remember getting the CD because I really liked the music.
We all can go to Oregon now and shoot up with meth and morphine right in public now because it's legal.
Yeah, so does anybody know, did medical marijuana pass in Arizona?
I heard that both propositions passed here in Arizona.
Recreational did pass, you said?
That's what I've heard. I don't know what the count was or any of that information.
So did you say there was another proposition?
Yes, and it was something to do with schools.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you this, that in the past, anytime that we have proposed, our state has proposed raising taxes or adding taxes to anything, the sale of, to build roads or to give to school teachers, somehow it never goes to that purpose. And that's why I was against both of those propositions. Even though a lot of people really thought it wasn't medical marijuana, it was to keep the medical marijuana. It was now you can grow up to, I forget, like 5 small plants in your own home.
Wasn't it actually to make recreational marijuana legal?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can grow it now on your own property.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this from a realtor's standpoint, from anyone in the building business. It will downgrade the finishes. It will also downgrade the value of your home.
Yes,
if you start growing it within your home.
I picked the wrong time to be on a keto diet. I wish I had me a bag of chips last night because I was needed in it.
Oh, Tim, I think it was worthy of splurging.
Brownies
I couldn't even have a beer. I couldn't even have a beer.
I was worried about you and Brandon last night.
Well, some of us take this stuff really seriously, and I do. I should have went to college and become a political science, but I didn't. And I've been watching politics since I was 10 years old. I've always been informed of our political system. That's why I told you guys last night I've been a conservative since conception. But I take it too serious sometimes. And when I see what happened last night, it's just Joe Biden will do more damage to this country than people thought that Donald Trump could. Donald Trump didn't do anything to this country. People just hated his. I get it. People didn't like his texting and his tweets and his speeches sometimes. I get it. But look past that.
Hip.
People got to look at what he did for this country and how great he did. And now all that's going to go out like the dodo bird. And people are going to be crying, oh, we lost our job to China. We lost this. Oil's gone now. We can't heat our home. Our power bills are going up now because they got rid of natural gas.
China has been watching us very, very closely the last 24 hours.
Last night when China thought Donald Trump was going to win, their money crashed. It literally went downhill. But now they know they got Joe Biden in their back pocket because they gave him $10 million, and they've got something on Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And this was funny. Last night, after all the election was done, NBC News finally came out and said, Joe Biden needs to answer these questions about Hunter Biden's hard drive computer. We all need to know why this and that. After all this has been said and done, now they want to know why about this. That's why I told you they may use this against Joe Biden to get him out of the way. So Miss Princess will be the president. Joe Biden is a Trojan horse. Yep. Everybody loved the gift of the Trojan horse when it showed up.
Though.
Yeah, everybody knew it. But everybody loved the present that they got from that country. And then later in the middle of the night, the enemy came out of that Trojan horse.
Tim, can you just tell the story of the Trojan horse for our viewers? Because a lot of young people probably never heard this story.
I don't remember the specifics of it.
Wasn't it Ulysses and his men were fighting a battle?
They were fighting a war against another country, and I believe they gave a present to this country to say, okay, this is our present. We're done. We're done with the war. We don't want to battle no more. And it was this huge horse, and they didn't know it was hollow. So they were all just, oh my God, look at this present we got. And so they all went to bed that night. And while they were sleeping, the army came out of that horse that was hollow and came in and slaughtered everybody. And they won the war. And that's exactly what happened last night with Joe Biden.
The Trojan army surprised them.
Yep, the Trojan army.
That's why it's called the Trojan horse.
Yep.
They accepted a present or a gift of peace.
They accepted an empty shell that had a bomb hidden inside of it.
Basically.
And Biden is an empty shell that is being filled with the radical agenda of what's her name? Kamala and Bernie and the AOC and all of the radical.
AOC was reelected last night.
Yeah, just unbelievable. But yeah, Joe Biden he's so old and frail. He can't be something that's going to hurt our country. Oh, Joe Biden just resigned. Oh my God. Kamala Harris is now president of the United States.
I've been predicting that worse than that. I figured they would just put a pillow over Joe Biden's face and take it that way.
They're going to frame him with the Hunter Biden computer, or that's why they changed the 25th Amendment a month ago.
There's
Pelosi
truth
changed it.
there. There's no framing. They tried to frame Trump for something he never did.
He didn't do. And so what they're going to tell Joe Biden, either you do this or we're going to imprison Hunter Biden in jail because he's being investigated right now with the FBI for money laundering out of that computer stuff. So they're going to say either you resign or we're going to go after Hunter. And he'll resign.
All this came out before the election, which is what blows my mind, that the American people knew all of this and they still elected that socialist, communist, Marxist.
Because
how did they know
you
about
hear
it?
the reports last week, what they said? They're like, some blind guy found the evidence against Hunter, and how are we supposed to trust a blind man?
Are you kidding? I didn't even hear
that's
that.
what I heard.
He's a blind guy. He's a blind guy that owns the shop, him and his father. And his father is a retired military. And so he gave this FBI this computer last December. Mm-hmm. He gave him the evidence. It was signed by Hunter Biden. And to secure and for his safety, he recorded what was on that hard drive. Just in case. Thank God he did. Mm-hmm. And so out of that, the stupid FBI sat on it because all they was worried about was the Russia hoax. Mm-hmm. And so they did nothing about it. And this guy said, hey, why not? This Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are crooked as hell. But here's the problem. Nobody knew about it because only Fox News was the only one talking about it. I tried to share it on my.
Discovered it.
I shared the New York Post on my Twitter feed. My Twitter was shut down for 10 days because I tried to share it. Mm-hmm. And on my Facebook page, they won't let you post this stuff because they are controlling. There's the first step to socialism. They're cutting off communication of the truth.
Now remember just a couple months ago, President Trump was about to take on these big conglomerates, these like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
It was last week. They were in the
censorship
Senate.
And stuff.
They were talking in the Senate last week, but like usual,
and it'll never happen now unless President Trump somehow wins, and we'll be totally screwed because they'll be able to control what information we get.
Information. When you control information, just like Facebook, they hired 12 Chinese censors from China who did it real good over there. Now they work for Facebook. And so now they're censoring everything on Facebook. They're looking at all these posts, just like they did on me, and they flagged it, and I can no longer post that stuff no more. Because when you control information, you control the world.
I'll be lucky if they let us put this video up.
Yeah, this one day may be illegal, and we could get either imprisoned or shot.
Oh, I'm sure if I had a lot of followers like some of these other YouTubers, I'm sure they would have shut me down already. But I'm pretty little. They haven't discovered me yet.
Well, we're under the radar right now. But I'm sure the FBI knows about me. So they've been collecting information on people for the past 6 months.
They know about you. Somebody in a room knows about you. With a computer, somebody knows.
Yeah, they've got computers that looks at everything. They're looking at us right now as we're filming this. They're watching it somehow.
People are naive if they think that if you really think your stuff isn't out there.
I just can't believe how many blind people I know that just blindly they're blind in their eyes and blind in their minds. That just voted for Biden because they hate the orange man.
Well, think about all the sighted people that are blind in their minds, too.
I know, but...
my dad pointed that out to me, too.
It's a scary thought that I don't know what our world's going to look like in the next 4 years. I really don't. And I can imagine the first day that Joe Biden's in office, he's going to start signing new regulations, bringing back all these regulations that Trump got rid of and help the economy and unemployment. And I heard on this morning on a radio show, there was a Democrat who was taped talking about that him and Fauci, Joe Biden and Fauci have been talking, and Fauci wants a 100-day lockdown just like they did in Australia. And that's most likely what's going to happen.
Right.
And what do you think that's going to do to the economy?
tank.
The economy that's just now starting to recover. And then we'll be done for good because we won't have President Trump to turn it around again.
And who do you think is going to get credit for the vaccine? Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. Joe
Biden's going to, if you look at Joe Biden's plan for COVID-19, it's everything that Donald Trump has already done. Mm-hmm. He was an empty fool.
And listen, the liberals are the ones that write our history books. So the history will be written like that. They'll lie in the history books about all of this.
The thing is, we are witnessing this happen. And 20 years from now,
I'll be dead.
What will our children say to their children?
You look like you got a headache, Kim.
I feel nauseous. I'm okay.
Don't puke on the screen because I'll puke.
It's okay.
Kim, I'm sorry you're hurting, Kim.
Oh,
it's everybody's stressed today, and I'm sure it's magnified because of the election.
Okay, Tim.
I'm actually really, really calm. In the past, I used to be the lady that would get blown up and irate.
But I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it in your
whatever.
voice. I hear it in your voice, though.
But I don't try not to do that anymore.
Well, we all need to do that, I guess.
Yep. So, do you guys want to talk about anything else before we end the show?
We can talk about the keto.
What else is going on?
I've lost 13 pounds in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good for you, Tim.
Because you're not eating anything?
Because he's on the keto.
Like last night, I had filet mignon and about 10, 15 scampi shrimp. But like yesterday's meal, I had 3 eggs for breakfast, then a protein shake for lunch, and then a filet mignon and shrimp for supper. That was it. I'm full.
And lots of water.
And lots of water. I'm peeing like to beat the band.
That's good for you, Tim. Water is really good for us, guys.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget.
You gotta drink a lot of water.
That's a good topic, too.
Always drink water. I drink a cup of coffee in the morning, but I don't drink Cokes anymore, and I quit drinking sweet tea.
Mm-hmm. How are you replenishing your electrolytes?
I take vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had the keto flu yet, so I'm doing pretty good.
The keto flu?
They call it the keto flu is when you feel really tired and drained because your body. So that's because your electrolytes are low. So I haven't had that problem yet. So knock on wood. All I've got is marble. Let me knock on marble.
But you're out walking and stuff with Glacier, right?
Yeah, I take Glacier for walks.
Yesterday so maybe you won't get that symptom. Some people don't get it.
I do 3 miles a day. So I got a notification yesterday that Leader Dog has a COVID-19 outbreak. So they're having an emergency evac for everybody. It's at Leader Dog for their guide dogs. So,
really?
Yeah, I think one of the staff came down with COVID-19. So they had to put everybody in their room, and they couldn't come out of the room unless there was food given to them. The only time they can go out is to relieve the dog for 2 or 3 days, and they got everybody out of there last night. So COVID-19 is here to stay. We have to live with it, just like the president says. There's nothing we can do about it. And it's like the flu and the cold. You got to truck through it until you get a flu shot or a vaccine, and that's all you can do.
And we'll survive it.
You will survive COVID-19 now more than ever.
The Chinese can't take us down, guys. And neither
they tried. I believe this was engineered in a lab somewhere, because it's funny that the Asian people are not affected by this as much as Americans are, and Western Europe. I believe it's designed for people with our genetic code.
It was manufactured in that lab in Wuhan. And,
Yep.
all these months, I've been wondering why President Trump hasn't taken out that lab with a bomb. Maybe he'll do that.
Because
Only
that
if
would
we get
start a
nuclear
war.
That's why.
I know, but somebody needs to take that lab out before the Chinese do this to the entire world again.
Well, I believe it was engineered to get rid of Donald Trump, and it worked. Nobody could beat Donald Trump except for COVID-19.
I believe the Chinese engineered it to try to take over the world, which is what they're doing.
Well, that's
by taking
true.
down the United States, that's the start of it.
Western
when the
Europe
United
is having
States,
outbreaks again too.
What'd you say,
when the
Kim?
United States,
So Western Europe is having outbreaks again too. Germany and the UK, they're having a second go at it's not like we're the only ones.
and the
We just
lockdowns are not
haven't
working.
felt any kind of relief. We haven't gone out in mass. A lot of people haven't left their homes in 7 or 8 months.
Oh, Tim,
And
don't worry. They're going to institute another lockdown. Maybe this next one will work.
Right.
No, lockdowns don't work.
I know, I'm being facetious. That's what I don't
Lockdowns
understand.
only
what's
make
wrong
it
with
last
American
longer.
people.
The lockdowns, Britain's done 2 or 3 now they're on their 3rd lockdown. It has never worked. They come out for a month and they're okay, we got to lock it down again.
Has anybody heard of what Sweden is doing? Because I had heard hold on for a minute, let me mute my phone. I had heard at one point that Sweden, because they let it just go through, that they were managing better than the rest of the world. But then I thought I heard that they did get another wave. But I suspect it's probably a lot lighter than the second wave everybody else experienced over there.
It's not. It's not doing well now. They're getting their wave too, but they're kind of more in their economy is more in a state of shock. Because they are still going out. But they're utilizing the masks, and they had more time to prepare. Mm-hmm. I do feel like we're better prepared for another big hit, but I don't know why people are just afraid anyway. People haven't gotten over the first wave.
I can't believe people are willing to just go back down under another lockdown, though.
They want to crawl up in the corner and wet all over themselves.
I don't think they are as willing as. I don't think they're as willing as the media will say. You know what I mean? I think that when it comes down to it, if we have to go under lockdown again, people are going to put up a fight this time. Well,
when you look at what they did with their vote yesterday, it would indicate that they support lockdowns, wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, I think that it's going to end up backfiring. That the people that were voting for Biden were just dead set against Trump. Not realizing that the ramifications.
There's a lot of people who voted yesterday does not know what they did.
They'll know in short order, though. When does Biden get sworn in? Is it January 20th?
January 20th, yes. It's like when Jesus said, Lord, forgive them. They have no idea what they've just done.
Yeah, forgive them. They know not what they do.
They do. And that's what's going to happen January 20th. And it's going to be not good.
I want to thank President Trump and his family and his administration for everything they did for us.
Yeah.
And I hope President Trump runs again in 4 years. If he doesn't win this time, I still say it's not over yet.
This is my prediction for Donald Trump. In about 1 year, Donald Trump is going to start a new cable network. Fox News is done. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is going to take over the conservative in this country. And you thought he was powerful now? Wait till he gets his own cable network. Mm. Fox News is history.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I believe he's going to start his own cable company, and he will take over the thinking of this country. I hope this might be a little stub in his little toe, but who knows? He could be the most powerful man still after this is said and done.
Who
And
knows?
guess what?
Maybe
He's already got. After last night, I'm done with Fox News. I am done with Fox News.
Tim, if you're right, maybe President Trump would want The Blind You to be one of the shows on his network.
Hey, I'm conservative enough.
We all love Trump pretty much. I mean,
I was just thinking that Tim should apply as a special reporter for the network. That would be funny.
But yeah, I believe that
he and Glacier could go around interviewing people.
Well, I don't know if I can take Glacier. Remember, I was by two black men in Atlanta. I almost got attacked by them because I had a black dog. So I don't think I'll be able to do that because I enslaved my dog, my guide dog.
so you know what, guys? Everybody on Earth seems to think they're a victim, right? For one reason or another. And do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yes.
When you play the victim card, you're weak.
Yeah, and that's how you lose. And that's another reason why I'm so shocked the Democrats won last night, because they have been playing the victim card for a long time, which is why I sided against them, because I realized a long time ago, if you're a victim, you're a wimp and a loser. You have to be a survivor.
When you're a victim, you're also taken advantage of, just like they've done with the black vote for so many years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was taking advantage of those 15 years I was locked down under that guardianship, and that's how I know we're all going to be taking advantage of locked down under this guardianship called the Biden administration.
We just got to hope and pray that they can only do so much damage, and in 4 years we wake up and say, okay, Kamala Harris is a horrible president, and let's take it back.
You know, there's always impeachment too, Tim.
We don't control the House.
Well,
we have to control. If I'm going to impeach somebody, I want to impeach them because they did something wrong illegally. I don't want to impeach somebody just because I hate them.
Oh, I know, but I'm sure Kamala Harris is going to do lots of stuff to violate our constitutional rights. I'm not saying go after.
You have to have hard evidence, and there isn't any.
Yeah, when you're crooked, as the Democrats are crooked, they're just like Joe Biden. He's crooked, but there's no evidence of it, and so it's hard to do that. I mean, they try to make up stuff on Trump, on Russia, and there's still no evidence of it because
you guys are talking about something completely different than what I'm talking about. You guys are talking about things going right, not going right because of the evidence. I'm saying that we have power inside us as individuals to change our situation, both as individuals and as a country.
But not everybody is as forthright or as self-motivated. And that's the hard part, is because people have been in the state that they have been because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are mentally and physically depressed.
They're tired.
And they're dependent.
And now is the time to hit them below the belt. And now is the time to emotionally strangle them. And that's why people will always side with the one that says, you should do this. You should vote for me. You're not black enough or black at all if you don't vote for me. You're not disabled if you don't vote for me. That's not okay. But people will fall for it because they're already unstable and they're not able to pull themselves out of that instability on their own. Or instability is a word, not instability. They're not able to pull themselves out of that on their own. No. And we do have a mental health situation or problem in our country, and it was just exasperated with the pandemic.
If COVID-19 never happened, Donald Trump would be president today, for sure.
COVID-19 would have happened regardless of who was president.
Yep, you're right.
And it would have been handled differently by whomever was president. I think Donald Trump did the best job that he could have with the information he was given at the time.
You are correct.
I disagree that the pandemic would have come down no matter who was president, because I believe the pandemic was intentionally manufactured and set off.
I would agree with that theory, because I believe it was generated because China knew that the Democrats couldn't get rid of Donald Trump. The economy was too good. Everything was going Donald Trump's way. So we need to come up with a disease that only really affects Westerners with the genetic code. They created it. They let it loose. And we got it. And so does Europe. So does everybody in the European Union. But over there in Asia, there's not a huge outbreak of it anymore because it doesn't go for their genetic code.
And you guys, we're not part of the UN anymore. So what purpose would it suit whomever came up with this manufactured illness to strike European countries?
China. China wants to control the world.
China struck out at the world at large, Kim.
I'm just trying to bring up points here. Because if I don't, somebody else is going to.
Yeah, well, it's Chinese. I mean, the Chinese government, their ulterior motive is to take over the world. They want to become the rulers of the world. And they're doing it this way by destroying their competition economically, and they're destroying the very fabric of our country.
Well, they're close to it.
But that's probably what you were saying anyway, right, Kim?
Russia is not the big enemy of America anymore. It's China. It's been China for 4 years.
Longer than that.
We've all been hoaxed away from China because of the Russian hoax. Russia. China is the big superpower now of the world, and we've all been looking at the other direction, but now we're about to find out China is going to eat our lunch now because of Joe.
Not all of us. Our president tried to warn us about China before he got elected, he was warning us about China.
Well, we deserve what we vote in, and we will see what happens in the next couple of years. That's all we can do. And hopefully there's America in 4 years, and we can kick Kamala Harris out of the presidency.
There will be an America. And
God
the results aren't all in yet.
God save America, and God save our citizens, our country, our government, our citizens, our Constitution, save our liberties and freedoms. Kim, go ahead. I think Kim and I have been talking over you.
No, the votes aren't all in yet, and there will be an America in 4 years. It's not like this hasn't happened before in history. We have a way of righting our wrongs and correcting our past mistakes, and that's through voting. That's why we have the systems that we do have. Presidents always make promises. Candidates always make promises, and then they get into office and they realize that they can't do most of what they said they were going to do.
But that's the really
incredible thing. Look at Obama in Guantanamo Bay.
Kim, that's the really incredible thing, though. President Trump was the first president in a long time who actually followed through on as many of his promises as he could to help the American people.
Because he made realistic promises.
Yeah.
But the only problem with your theory there, Kim, is there's only so many holes that a boat can get, and you patch it up. Eventually, you're going to spring a leak that you can't control, and your boat sinks. So every time we try a new experiment, we're putting a hole in our society, into our system, and then we got to patch it up. You keep doing that. Eventually, it collapses. So we can't keep doing these little experiments with socialism and communism.
The children are not being taught correctly.
Yeah, the children are being taught that America is bad and evil. We are an evil country because we had slavery. We know what? America's not perfect, and I'm against slavery. I'm against racism. All we need to do is strive to be better, and I think America is better today than it was 40 years ago, and America will be better, well, I can't say 40 years from now. I don't know what our country's going to look like in 40 years.
Guys, it just occurred to me that Leon is not here today, and our viewers might be wondering where he's at because he's always on the show. So I want to share with our viewers. Yesterday, Leon went in for a medical treatment, and the place he was in caught fire.
Whoa.
And so he had to go back in today to do his treatment. So he's not here today to record the show with us. But Leon is well. I just wanted to let our viewers know.
I figured he was doing target practice.
No, the clinic caught fire yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you see? I went on the group and told everybody. He texted me. He's like,
He lives in a hot spot for rioting, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But everybody just take a deep breath. What it is what it is. And just hope for a tie.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could be done for the show.
Yep. Kim, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
So does anybody want to say nana nana boo boo to the people who didn't join us today? Like Amy,
It was just I had two pretty ladies all to myself. I feel special.
Yeah, but Abby and Larry and Joetta, they all stood us up. And some of the other people I've been on sometimes, at least we showed up to stand up for our country. Thank you guys for participating.
You're welcome. I'll send you the bill.
May God preserve our union and our Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked today's episode of The Blind View. Please like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Peace out. Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.